Again, long weekend, what are we going to ride? Looks like the Waikaraka Cycleway alongside the Manukau harbour, and we'll add to that quite a bit down south of there, also on the Manukau foreshore. When the Great Rides opened 10 years ago, this area had only recently come out of years of restoration after being used and abused for sewage treatment works. And even the north side of the Manukau harbour, where the Waikaraka Cycleway is, was fairly desolate. Freezing works used to be around there and various other twilight zones. Since that time, they've added more opportunities with lots more cycleways, and there's been a massive restoration project. So we're adding some of those opportunities together. So we started near Penrose, Southdown, crossed the railway line and biked along the Waikaraka Cycleway from east to west before crossing the Mangere bridge. And then we turned left and went up the same inlet along the Favona Cycleway before crossing Mangere suburb, going down alongside State Highway 20 towards the airport, connected up with Otuataua Stonefields, the Watercare coastal track, through the Ambury Regional Park, and then the Kiwi Esplanade Reserve before going back on Waikaraka to where we started.
Okay, I'm riding on the Waikaraka Cycleway on the way out to Manukau Bridge and then Ambury, Favona, and around the Otuataua Stonefields. You start off here pretty much in the twilight zone. There's an inland container yard for rail freight here, which is pretty gross, and a lot of other sort of slightly gross land uses as well. But it's a really nice cycleway right alongside the Manukau foreshore and prime oyster catcher habitat, so there's lots of bird life and a few volcanoes out this way, as you'll probably see later on. And we really wanted to ride by train to the Penrose station to do this, because Penrose station isn't far away. But unfortunately, trains aren't running this long weekend. That's something they often do during long weekends to do maintenance. Recreational users of our train system are very much the second-class citizens, and it's what it is designed for is around commuting. But that's okay. It's not a big drive, not a hard drive. And we started at the Hugo Johnston Road end, and it's a almost 40-kilometre route, so it's a decent sort of ride. This is the Favona part of the Manukau foreshore. I've never actually ridden around this. We've always turned right after the bridge and gone straight to Ambury, but yeah, there's this shared path, and then there's a few cycleways to get us to the southern end of the Otuataua Stonefields. And I thought, well, rather than riding the same way both there and back, we'll make sure that we have a slightly different there, so that we enjoy the back a bit more. Yeah, some really boring warehousing twilight zone stuff out to the right, but yeah, some quite interesting foreshore mangrove swamps and seabird habitat. Looking over to my left is the shortcut, the portage between the Manukau harbour and the Tamaki estuary. Currently biking along the cycleway beside State Highway 20, which goes out to the airport. Not the most interesting bit of biking we've ever done, but yeah, we're kind of focusing on the headwind mostly anyway, so we don't need the view. So this is the entrance to the Otuataua Stonefields Reserve, where there was a big occupation a few years ago. For those of you who don't know it, I guess anyone living in New Zealand probably did hear of Save Ihamato. And yeah, Ruben and I came out here for a while. It's a really neat reserve, has a really interesting history to it. And a lot of it is around the use of volcanic rock for growing food, heat trap gardens and that sort of thing. And yeah, there's a European history to it too. It's kind of neat. But Fletcher's, a big construction company, got a right to create a special housing area out here next to the reserve, and yeah, it wasn't very popular with the locals. And fortunately, yeah, a bit of a deal was done that sort of kind of bought them out of that, so the building hasn't gone ahead. But yeah, it's a neat area, that's for sure. So we've left the Otuataua Stonefield Preserve, and we're currently heading north towards Mangere Maunga. Might see you in just a second, out that way. And this is on the Watercare track, or at least that's what it used to be known as. We've biked this many times. It's one of our favourites. I think constructing it was part of Watercare's resource consents to continue running the major sewage treatment plant here in Auckland. But yeah, neat trip, in part because of the restoration works that have gone on here. There used to be, out to my left, out to Pukatuku Island, a whole lot of sewage ponds, and you know, that barely treated the whole of Auckland sewage before it was transported out into the Manukau harbour. So yeah, now they have a tertiary system based on UV treatment. The leftover coastline, which used to be fairly inaccessible and obviously polluted, has been restored quite a lot, and some fairly big earthworks and replanting projects, especially around Ororangi Creek, which we're about to cross soon, I believe. And yeah, the whole foreshore is much more usable than it used to be.